only way I think we can do that in this very diverse city is to talk to each other.
Everybody's busy, but nobody's doing anything.
We have to tamper that down before we can get back on the right track.
Attention BART riders.
Hey, San Francisco, I'm Ben Kaplan, and this is the podcast where we define who we are and who we want to be. We are San Francisco. Hey everyone, in this episode of We Are San Francisco, I'm sitting down with three candidates running for District 7 Supervisor, Matt Boschetto, Myrna Melgar, and Stephen Martin Pinto. We dive into the key issues facing the district, from housing and public safety to the future of City College and the Great Highway. Each candidate brings a unique perspective, sharing their visions on how they plan to tackle the challenges and improve the lives of District 7 residents. Let's dive in. Myrna, why did you decide to run for the Board of Supervisors?
I love my job, and I want to do it again for the next 4 years. We've been through earthquakes and pandemics and AIDS and all kinds of things, and we somehow managed to reinvent ourselves and create something wonderful and new and magical. And the only way I think we can do that in this very diverse city is to talk to each other.
Stephen, your thoughts?
I hadn't lived here in about 15 years. And my first impression when I came back was what happened to San Francisco. The crime, the homelessness, the drugs, the dumping on the streets, it was just out of control. And that's what inspired me to run for office in 2020. And now I'm back again in 2024.
What do you think, Matt?
This was never in my bucket list or, professional trajectory, but I was encouraged by members of my community. People have known me since I was a kid. I kind of felt obligated at that point to step up and do something. I know it's a city where, usually professional politicians are the ones who are most successful in races like these, but I figured it was important to really step up and have a community voice, especially in District 7.
And Matt, first of all, for those who don't know District 7 well, and especially the political district, what are the high points of District 7? What are the notable landmarks, just to get a basis of what District 7 actually means?
Our biggest landmark is going to be Sutro Tower. Right. The radio tower or TV tower, I forget, you have Irving Street, you have Judah, you have Ocean Avenue. It really goes on, and you kind of just have these really little pockets that, a lot of people drive around my neighborhood, Maryland Park, and they're like, I never knew it even existed. Right. So we're kind of really tucked into these little corners. There's, we're in a corner, but then there's a lot of corners itself within District 7.
Supervisor Melgar, the floor is yours.
Goes all the way from the Daly City border. We actually share a larger border with District 5 in San Mateo County, the District 5 in San Francisco County, and includes Fort Funston, the zoo, and then it goes up 19th Avenue all the way to Golden Gate Park. It includes San Francisco State University, City College of San Francisco, the main campus, and UCSF Parnassus. It includes all the institutions in Golden Gate Park, the museum, the Academy of Sciences. We have the third largest concentration of children in our city and lots of really good schools and parks. And so it is, I think, the best district, but also incredibly diverse and like the face of the new San Francisco.
Stephen, agree or disagree?
District 7 is a neighborhood-centric district. We have our park neighborhoods like Ingleside Terrace, Balboa Terrace, St. Francis Woods, Forest Hill. It's a very beautiful area. I think the most beautiful area of the city. It's more suburban than the rest of the city. We love our business corridors. We love our neighborhoods. We love our communities. We love our lifestyle. And I think that you're not going to find anybody that will fight anywhere in the city that's going to fight harder to protect their way of life than people that live in District 7.
Steve, what makes you stand out from others who are running? I mean, you're running against the sitting supervisor, Myrna Melgar, in District 7. What makes you different or stand out from her?
I think the other thing, too, that's different from me versus most other incumbents is I work as a firefighter. I've been on the receiving end whenever these policies that City Hall creates, and I get really frustrated because I feel like nobody in City Hall is taking this issue seriously, and I know they can see it. All I got to do is look out their window and see what's going on. What I'm bringing is a sense of priorities that I don't think most people in City Hall even know about or even care about. Compared to most candidates, I began my campaign as a private citizen that just wanted to make a change. I'm not the creation of a political action committee. I'm not a city hall insider. I'm just a person that cares deeply about the city and is motivated to run to address the issues that I feel need addressing.
Okay, Matt, thoughts?
I think I'm the only first-time candidate. I'm really just kind of blowing in here out of nowhere. So I'm really a fresh start, a fresh face, a fresh look. I'm the only one with a business background. And I think right now, somebody who, does have that level of accountability where you can't, blow out your budget, having a, very broad look on decision making, how not only how it impacts you and your career trajectory, but the people who work for you, having that persistence of just waking up day to day and being on the grind and leading from the front. I think that's what's really been missing in City Hall, especially in District 7.
Myrna?
What makes me stand out, I think, is that I have been in public service this whole time. I understand how things work, but I also understand what people like my family need in our district to make sure that our kids are successful and they thrive, and that people can age in place and have a warm place to go at night in our district and stay close to their community. I think that you can't really fix something unless you understand it. And I understand the way our city works.
Myrna, what is one idea that's been suggested by an opponent that you think is a good idea or is worthy of further consideration? Is there something that someone else suggested that you actually think is a good idea?
Not yet. I would caution all of us to just dial down the notch and sort of try to see who has good ideas, how we can implement them without, having a recall effort for every little disagreement like there is with my colleague in District 4 right now. And because I do think that is, that can potentially be really destructive.
Stephen?
A lot of times what we think is a good idea and what actually is a good idea is not the same. I think Matt Boschetto and I are aligned in a lot of ways. What Myrna Melgar thinks, I think we're opposite in a lot of ways. We have good intentions, but what are the results? Responsible governance, reducing the corruption, reducing the crime, strengthening our police force, strengthening sensible housing development. I think Matt and I are probably very similar in a lot of ways.
Matt, your thoughts?
I really don't disagree with a lot of, the stuff that is being pursued. Like all the candidates are saying public safety. For me in District 7, it's really stylistically that I think I'd really change. When you look at housing, topics about housing and stuff, there's really just been no community process around it. West Portal, same thing. There's no real community process around it. I do believe that there needs to be movement made and progress made on those issues. I just think the way it's been done without any community process up front, sort of just in the offices at City Hall, rather than actually getting down and dirty with the constituents, being in the trenches with them, having the hard conversations with them, has led to really bad results in District 7. But I think the general movement, I think we're all in agreement on where it needs to go.
And Matt, if you had a magic wand, it's the day after the vote in November, you've been elected, and you have a magic wand to get one thing through, what would it be that you would think would be most impactful?
Certainly full staffing for the police force. If I could really snap my fingers and do anything, it would just be that the police have all the resources they need to adequately serve all the districts in the way they need. We're virtually unchecked at night for crime, and there's no deterrent. And so, I just think if I could snap my fingers and bring back that staffing and create that deterrent for the West Side, we'd see so many improvements right away. I think citywide. The West Side particularly, we are suffering from the lack of staffing more than I think other neighborhoods. Any extra resources are being drawn downtown to rougher areas, areas that, it's more important for cops to be out there, to be fair. But that's resulted in a situation where a lot of times we have one police officer on the road at night.
Myrna?
I would create more cooperatively owned housing in District 7. Home ownership has been one of the things that have been most important in creating a middle class, creating assets, having, a secure place in terms of housing for families with young children. Because the West Side, and particularly District 7, has always been, homeowner occupied, middle class, teachers, firefighters. I think we need those entry level opportunities for a new generation to be able to carry on that sort of flavor of District 7.
What do you think, Stephen?
Shut down the open air drug markets. The open air drug markets are really what's responsible for a lot of our problems. It's eroding our downtown core. It's making it an undesirable place to visit, to do business, to be a tourist. We need to do everything we can to shut down the open air drug markets, which have a whole bunch of second and third order positive effects. And then that would help us get on the path back to recovery.
Steve, do you think city government in San Francisco is systemically broken? Is it systemically corrupt, or is it just ineffective? Is it just inefficient? Are there some bad apples, or is it truly broken?
The system fosters corruption because it's so big and bureaucratic. Nobody's looking, nobody's watching them, nobody's making sure they're doing their job because everybody's busy, but nobody's doing anything. We have a size of government problem, and that does make it easier to hide corruption. I think because the people in government often search for ways to bypass the process because it is so slow, and that's then becomes based on personal relationship.
Matt, agree?
I don't want to go and say that it's truly broken. I think we still have a fantastic city, right? The bare bones of this city are great. And we have a huge city hall, right? There's a lot of good things about city hall and the government and what they do, but like I think we have just lost our way. We forgot who we were. You know, we're much more focused, I think, on what San Francisco is to the rest of the country rather than what it should be to its own people. We need to really get back to what's the basic necessities and basic services of government, really hammer those down, good management around those, and then we can look back at the nice to haves and decide what we want from there. This relentless pursuit of nice to haves, I think it has driven us to where we are, and we have to tamper that down before we can get back on the right track.
Myrna, agree?
I do. I think fresh change and new ideas are needed for a healthy city and for a healthy country. That's part of the political discourse and how we make progress. I don't necessarily, though, think that those have to come from people who have never been involved before. I heard the mayor is talking about comprehensive charter reform. I think we absolutely must do that, and we have to be thoughtful and inclusive and transparent in that. Sometimes we have the tendency to say, oh, let's just do away with everything that we had before. But what that means is you have to start with systems from scratch, and it takes a lot more energy and a lot more work.
Myrna, one issue that's close to my heart for District 7 is an institution that's there, City College of San Francisco. City College used to be the largest college in California. What should we do to get it back on the right track?
I absolutely think that both City College and San Francisco State have a key role in producing the workforce, including the public safety workforce that we need today and tomorrow. We must give them the resources to make that happen. When you hire a new employee, you look at their experience and you look at, their academic preparation, all of that stuff. But there is something that comes from being born and raised in San Francisco, or at least raised in San Francisco, that you can't substitute for a college degree. Knowledge of the neighborhoods, knowledge of the geography, of the power structure in the city, of the different ethnicities and cultures that are here. That is a huge asset. When you hire somebody who's from here, you bring all that knowledge here. A kid who grew up in Lakeview knows Lakeview. And so you don't have to start from scratch, introducing them to community policing in the community that they've grown up.
Stephen?
It's our community college. It's an educational institution that, we should take pride in that. If we do anything in San Francisco, we should do it well. We should take pride in what we do. People need to pay closer attention to how it's being run, who is elected on the board, and then when elections come up, support the right people. One of the things I really want to do as supervisor is do inspections of every department, like inspect City College. Okay, what's going on here? Do visits. Are the facilities are they good? Do they need repair? With that knowledge, I can advocate within my power formally to do things to help City College.
Matt, agree or disagree?
I think it's really, really important, especially for, city-raised kids. Having a pipeline, I think, from high school to City College and then into the workforce, or to higher education from there, it's extremely important to keep people in San Francisco. When you look at the school district, you look at the City College, you look at the city, I mean, we're struggling with all the same sort of issues, right? It's a blown out budget. It's a lack of or forgetting about how to have good management over, the mandate you have. When you look at the future of the city, making it more livable, how do we keep people here? How do we keep people from leaving? That is a key place to be focusing on.
All right, that's a wrap on today's episode of We Are San Francisco. A big thanks to
Matt Boschetto, Myrna Melgar, and Stephen Martin Pinto.
And hey, if you enjoyed this conversation, stay tuned. We've got more candidates from other districts coming up soon, so you won't want to miss that. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and keep an eye out for those episodes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.